All right, for this video, we're gonna do an anabolic French toast. This is a Greg Doucette recipe. You can find his recipe on online. He's done a video on it already, but I'm gonna do mine and show you how it comes out because it comes out straight from his cookbook. And this is kind of a review of it, sort of. So this is the anabolic French toast. I took his recipe and I programmed it into the Vitamix app. So it's already ready to go, and you'll see step by step how it's done. You'll see the nutrition of it, and it's a very delicious recipe. I really like it, and it's very easy and quick to make. And I'm going to do it in the Vitamix just to show how much quicker it can be made. So we're just going to go ahead and turn the scale on. We have the app ready. I've already preheated a pan in which it's a non-stick pan, and the only thing I do is add a little bit of this canola spray on it. You can use whatever oil spray, but just use a very small spray. You don't want to add up the calories. Okay, scale's on. Let's go ahead and begin our steps. Now the recipe is going to be in the description. It's going to be a link that you click to, and it will take you directly to the recipe. But this is a pretty simple recipe anybody can follow. So the first step, this whole thing makes one serving, by the way. It's going to be 2 pieces of toast. The first step is going to take a bowl and put it on the scale. And I have a bowl that's pretty wide. I want it to be that big so I can put the bread slices in there, and that way they soak up the liquid. So we're just going to put that on there, and it will register on the app. Now this recipe calls for what's called regular ass bread. That's exactly how it's worded in the cookbook. It's got a sense of humor, so it's really fun read. But this is regular ass bread that you can buy at the store for $1 and change. And we're gonna need 2 slices of it. This is 70 calories per slice, which is 28 grams. So 2 slices should be 60 grams, and it'll show up here. And it's almost 60 grams, so that's pretty accurate on the slice. So since it didn't automatically go to the next step, we're just going to push the button, the next button, and now we're going to get to the liquid portion of the recipe. So for that, we're going to take the bowl off to the side, and we're going to use the personal cup adapter. You can use the regular Vitamix container, but I like to use the personal cup because it's just a handy little thing to use. It's very easy to clean. So we're just going to put that on there. And it registered. And so the first ingredient is going to be egg whites. And it's about 6 ounces of egg whites. And I use store brand egg whites that you can buy. They're the 100% liquid egg whites. You can use whole eggs or separate the egg whites if you want to do it that way. It doesn't matter. But I use the egg whites as called for in the recipe. This is a great way to add a lot of protein and cut calories significantly. So we're just going to add until it chimes, which is 96 calories, about 100 calories, and it says so in the recipe book. And we're going to use a sweetener. You can use Splenda, stevia, any kind of 0-calorie sweetener. And the recipe in the book calls for 1 packet of sweetener, and I never actually quite measured it, so I'm just going to take a tablespoon and put half a tablespoon in there. Probably a little bit more. I programmed it for a little bit more because I like a little bit more. There we go. And it's now time for the ground cinnamon. And when you have a Vitamix, you can take cinnamon sticks and grind it yourself. I bought it already ground. It's not quite the same taste, but this is plenty good. So you just keep adding, and this is actually pretty tedious trying to sprinkle it on there. So I'm going to take the cap off and go ahead and tap it in there. And there it goes. Don't want to go too overboard because then too much cinnamon will taste nasty, unless you like that kind of thing. Okay, vanilla extract. It's about 2 1/4 teaspoons. So I have vanilla extract here. I like to use the imitation vanilla extract. Doesn't taste quite the same, but it's a lot less expensive to buy. Okay. And now we're just going to go ahead and blend this. Now, if you don't have a blender or anything like that to use, you can just whisk it. But this is literally the fastest thing to do. So I'm just going to go ahead and use that and just kind of mix it for a little bit. And it's done. Nothing major. Very easy to do. Put it back on the scale. All right, now we transfer this mixture to that bowl. So I'm just going to take the bread out, put it to the side, have the bowl, take the cup off the scale, put the bowl on the scale. Now, since we're not measuring anymore, it really kind of doesn't matter if I put it on the scale or not. So this next step is basically just pour this in the bowl. Okay, that's done. And you can see already the calories are recorded for 276, 2 grams fat, 31 grams carbs. Protein is 25 grams for the whole recipe. So you can eat this and not worry about gaining weight at all. Okay, so we've already gone to the next step, and it's a step that says dip the bread into the mix. So since we have a nice bowl here of a nice size, we can just take the whole bread and just dip it in there. Now I need a fork or something so that I can flip it over in the mix. And you want the bread to soak everything up as much as it can. Just be aware that it's gonna tend to want to fall apart in the mix. So just be gentle with it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put another little spray in my pan, and we're just gonna cook this up. I'm gonna pour this, try to get this slice in here, this first slice. Okay, that first one's in there. Get the next slice, get it going. Soak up as much as it can, just like that. It smells really good. Okay, put this next slice in there. Hopefully it doesn't fall apart. Okay. All right, so you're gonna have a little bit of liquid left in the bowl. So you're just gonna take that liquid and pour the remainder on top of the toast that's in the pan. And you just do that slowly so that you can get as much of it on the bread slices as you can. And there's gonna be some of the egg white that kind of goes all over the place, but that's okay, because once it starts cooking, you can fold it up and put it back onto the bread. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cook this for about 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how you like it, on a medium-low heat, so you don't burn it, and you just cook it until everything is cooked through. So I'm just gonna jump cut, and we're gonna see the finished product. All right, my toast is done. I'm gonna put it on this plate here. There's still 1.5 minutes left on this timer, but this timer had 5 minutes on there, and I wanted it to cook longer, so I just reset the timer a little bit. And that is all it takes to cook Greg Doucette's Anabolic French toast. We have reached the end of the difficult part, which is cooking it. And now the recipe is pretty much done. We are finished with the recipe. Now, I like to put sugar-free syrup on there. You can put whatever syrup you want, whatever. I'm gonna pour it into this little dish here, which is about 4 tablespoons, so it's gonna be about 30 calories worth of syrup. And this is extremely delicious. There we go. Not quite real maple syrup, but have to cut corners if you want to eat food like this every day. I'm just going to go ahead and pour that on there. You can put more cinnamon on top if you want. There's no rules. It's funny because in Greg's videos, he says the same thing, and I've been saying that for a long time too. But there are no rules in the kitchen. Just customize everything the way you want. So we're just gonna go ahead and cut one of these slices just to see how it looks in the middle. Remember, this is regular ass white bread. You can use a different type of bread, but you can see how it's cooked through. And believe me, this is a very, very filling meal. You can have this multiple times a day if you want. You can add fruit on top of it. You can add Greek yogurt on top of it. You can do anything you want with it, but eating this by itself is a real treat, and there's no guilt associated with it. So I'm even gonna take a bite, and I'm gonna tell you how it tastes. Dip some of this syrup in here. Well, that happened. All right, that was a little interruption, but we're okay. French toast tastes good. It is, you can taste the vanilla extract in it. You can taste the cinnamon, definitely. And the sweetness is just on par. This is an excellent recipe. And there are recipes very similar to this, and even more so in Greg's cookbook, which I think is worth every penny, because he explains everything, how to simplify eating food like this, the calories, the nutrition, the macros, all that stuff that if you care about that. I don't really care about macros. I never did. Even before Greg got popular on YouTube, I just focused on calories, and it's been what my kind of a lifestyle anyway. Just watch what you eat. Just make sure you don't go over the calories, and that's it. Just get to enjoy really delicious foods like this. But that's the Greg Doucette Anabolic French Toast. Highly recommended. The recipe will be in the link. You can also look at his video. And that's it. Have a good day.